Hello everyone, in this video we are going to deal with this very unhealthy looking Ficus Shivereana Moonshine. You can see that the leaves are turning brown, they have this kind of rotten brown spots, and also some leaves have already dropped off. So let's see what we can do about it. Hello everyone, I'm Anna, welcome to this channel. I help you grow beautiful and healthy plants and so that you can surround yourself with these green beauties which will help you of course be positive, proactive, creative and in general feel happier. So in this video I want to show you one of my ficuses. I have I think 5 or 6 varieties already. This is the smallest one. And once it was so beautiful when I bought it. Now you will also see the picture, how it looked like when I bought it. It's still in its nursery pot and you can see that the leaves are absolutely unhealthy, they are dead, they fall off. And you can see that here the stems are already quite naked. They have lost so many leaves and it was looking so good before. But ideally we of course try to save it now. Well, here we have, you can see that it's still in its kind of net. That's how they propagated it and how they planted it into this soil. But you can also see this kind of rust or salts on the surface of the soil. This is also actually a sign that maybe about the pH level, but also overwatering. So if you will notice that you have this kind of yellowing layer on the soil, this can be a sign that maybe you overwater. And this is exactly what happened to me because it's a smaller pot. The soil gets dry quite fast and I kept watering it, not even noticing that actually here in this ceramic pot there was always water at the bottom, and that's what created the problem. So first of all, of course, make sure that the pot that your ficus is growing have drainage holes, but also pay attention to how much you water, how often you water. It can depend on many things, but of course now, especially now when it's kind of autumn moving towards winter, we have less light, we have less sunlight basically, and the temperatures are lower. In this case, we really need to adjust our watering and think what conditions we can improve for them. Of course, it's always about air humidity, light and watering and temperature at the same time. In any case, here also the soil is what matters, so I'm gonna repot this plant trying to save it. Let's see if we will succeed. I think the damage is significant in this case, but still there is a chance to save this absolutely beautiful plant. You can see that it grows one new leaf here, and this is also absolutely young leaf, not even full size yet. And I hope that I will still be able to save it. We will need to, of course, first look at the roots and see in what condition they are. And I'm going to repot it in exactly the same pot because all my pots are much bigger and I don't think it needs a bigger pot at this point, especially when it struggles to even maintain its leaves. So let's take the plant out of the pot and check the roots. That's the most important. Whenever your plants get rotten, try to take them out of the pot. Examine the roots, remove all rotten, all unhealthy looking roots, and then you can repot in a fresh soil. Speaking of the soil, and this is not a sponsored video, but you may have noticed that recently I've switched to this Hoya mix from Cyber Soil, Cybertanica, and it's not sponsored, but I do like this soil because I had just felt significant growth for my Hoyas. And the soil is so chunky, it's with worm castings, with bark in it, that I prefer to repot all my plants actually into this soil. So all my philodendrons, monsteras, Pachira aquatica, my money tree is also growing there. And I'm gonna try now this soil also for ficuses, even though I must say I have a specific potting mix for ficuses, but I want to try this one to see if this will be, again, a better fit for my ficus, because again, having such a great experience with this soil, I would definitely like to test it now for ficuses. So By the way, if you would like to test the soil for yourself, the link will be in the description and you can use my code for 10% of discount if you would like to try it, of course. So I will mix it. I had a little bit of old dry soil here and mixing it with this fresh one. It's still exactly the same soil, just one portion was a little bit dry already, coming from another bag. All right, let's now take this plant out and see what's going on with the roots. Of course, I don't pull, but I will just hold from the stems and I will squeeze the pot. It will help me separating the roots in case they are stuck on the wall, but you can see that no, everything is fine. And you can see that even from the top, it looked as if the soil is a little bit dry, but inside it's completely moist. It's completely wet. And if I remove this here, you see this cup kinda that is also not holding the roots, I would say, because it's also degradable and the roots can also go through this cup, but still we need to free this plant so that it can spread out its roots and grow wonderfully. Let's do it. Many of your plants can also have this kind of cups. So the way you should remove them is not, of course, by pulling them, but you just cut it and then you open it up so that you have the root ball and everything free. See, just like this. And you can notice the difference in the soil. So here it's more sandy with a lot of perlite, and I guess that's what causes the problem, because this part contains and holds moisture for a very long time. This is very good for propagation when you just start to propagate a plant. Of course, it's good to have kind of moisture around the roots, around the stem, so that the stems can produce roots quickly and easily. But after a while, when the plant starts to grow, it doesn't need to be all wet all the time around the stems. So let's remove it completely. So here's one thing that I want to show you. So this root is not broken, but coming close to the wall of that net, it was so thick it couldn't go through the holes of that net, and basically it bent down and went in another direction. And this one is also so thick it would have zero chances to break the net and go to grow into the soil. That's why it's kind of a little bit has a weirdly shaped root system, but it will be totally fine. Now we will pot it in the same pot because the size is perfectly fine. Of course, you can rinse the pot, that also helps, but I think there's no problem in here, no insects, no diseases. So basically the roots are really good, they're not rotten at all. And now I will just simply repot it and reduce watering so that at least this leaf will not be recovered, of course, but at least the new ones will be healthier and will not have the same problem that this plant had before. This pot is good. Again, you can rinse it if you want, but I never do it unless the plant had a disease. But to be honest, in that case also, I just get rid of the pot and I plant the pot in a new pot, so I don't really risk having spread the disease now to another plant. So I will put it just like this. There is a little bit of soil here. I will place it in the center and add the soil. And let me also show you the soil. You can see how chunky it is. It has bark, perlite in it, worm castings, and a little bit of also, I think, leca, if I'm not mistaken, just a little bit. I've seen it a little bit. But this is a very light soil and definitely would recommend, especially for plants that like chunky soil, Monstera, Philodendron, Hoya, and now Ficus. I will, of course, update you again about this plant, and let's see how it will like the new soil. And this is it. For now, the soil is a little bit moist, so I will maybe water it tomorrow, not today, and I will significantly reduce watering, which I definitely recommend you also doing it. Put your ficuses in the bright areas, very in very indirect sunlight, if you have it of course in winter, which for me it is a problem, and reduce watering in winters. It's very important so that you don't have roots that will rot or stems that will rot. But the very first leaf that has something like this, it's already a signal for you that, hey, control the watering, check the roots, see how the plant is doing. And if you have several leaves falling off, it's a definite sign for you that something is wrong. Try to save the plant as soon as you can. That's it for today. If you have any questions, please write them all in the comments. Of course, subscribe to our newsletter and the channel, and I will see you in the next one.